Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a long overdue Q&A. You guys have been asking me to do one for a while, and so I reached out on Instagram and Facebook and asked you to give me your best questions, and you had a lot of them, so we're gonna dive right in. So first of all, even though this video is going up December 1st, I am not doing Vlogmas. Those of you that were with me last year know that I am a Vlogmas failure. The idea of Vlogmas, which if you don't know, Vlogmas is where you put up a video every single day in the month of December. It seems like a lovely idea. In my mind, it seems like something I would love to do, but in practice, I found it to be just too overwhelming and too much for me. Just know that at the outset, no Vlogmas. It's been a while since I sat in front of the camera and chatted with you guys. So we're here in my family room in front of the Christmas tree and the fireplace and the stockings, and it's oh so festive. So it does have a little bit of a hint of Christmas. But I actually, for the first time doing a Q&A, I did not go through these in advance. I kind of glanced at them, and there were a few that a bunch of you asked multiple times. But if I don't get to your question, know that I did read it, but I didn't normally I print it out and I put a lot of time into kind of going through the questions ahead of time and thinking about how I'm going to answer. I didn't do that this time. So I'm kind of answering real time, and hopefully this will come together into something that is enjoyable for you to watch. By the way, if you are not subscribed and you want more videos about Disney, Disney Vacation Club, Run Disney, and all kinds of other fun things, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit those bell notifications so that you don't miss a thing. All right, so let's go to the Instagram post first, because that's where you guys really posted a lot of stuff. So let's go to my questions. And there were 25 questions on here. So obviously I'm not going to be able to get through 25 questions, but there were a few that got a whole bunch of likes. So those are the ones that I'm going to spend my time answering. I get asked about this all the time. And this is from Robin Lynn 77. Robin says, you wear a heart-shaped necklace. Does it have some significance, a memento from a special event? It has significance because my husband gave me this necklace maybe 20 years ago, maybe 21 years ago, and it is Paloma Picasso for Tiffany & Company. It is actually still available on their website. He gave it to me. I have loved it and worn it ever since. So that's the significance, is it was from my sweet husband for Christmas many, many years ago. And yeah. All right. Now this next question I got a lot as well. This question, you guys would ask questions and then people would like them. And I assumed if they had a lot of likes, it's something that more than one person wanted to know. So we'll go with those. This is from Rise El Para. Are you considering returning to the private sector for work, or do you only see YouTube in your future as your line of work now? Or maybe you don't have to work, in which case, yay. Well, I wish that I didn't have to work. However, we do have 3 kids in college. For right this second, YouTube is working fine. I will admit to you that I have been kind of thinking about my resume, thinking about what I want to do next. And quite honestly, I kind of miss work. I love doing YouTube and I love having my own business, but if I could figure out a way to kind of morph what I'm doing on YouTube into a larger business, maybe even with some team around me. I'm a person that works really well with a team of people, and being a YouTube creator is fantastic, but it's also very isolating. So I wouldn't mind being on a team again. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like. And I'm kind of going to spend these next few months as we go into 2020 figuring that out. So I would love any thoughts that you have, unless they're multi-level marketing things, which I do not do. So please do not send me DMs about that. But I would love to see something where I can kind of flex more of my leadership muscle and be involved more with a team. I always did great in creative environments, so I don't know. Financially, YouTube is working out fine for me. Of course, you know, again, with 3 kids in college, I would always love that to be more. Some of the changes that are coming to YouTube may affect my income, so not totally sure. So I guess the short answer is, I don't know. How about that? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing next, but you know, I'm at this point, I would say I am open to job offers. So trying to figure out what that would look like, and feel free to check out my LinkedIn profile. Ding. So this next question, I got a ton. I mean a ton. What made you decide to become a vegetarian, and how do you make it work living with non-vegetarians? So this is kind of an interesting story. And I'm really a pescatarian, so I don't eat meat, but I do eat fish, I do eat dairy, and I do eat cheese. So yeah, I had a lot of stomach problems really all my life, and I went to the doctor. They were starting to do all these tests. I had a friend who was a vegetarian. She said, you should try it and see if it helps, and it did. That is literally the story of how I became a vegetarian. I stopped eating meat. My stomach problems improved. I had had eczema for years. That went away. My immune system got better. So for whatever reason, my body does not like to digest meat, but it does really well with mostly plant-based diet and a little bit of fish. So it's just how I feel good. Now, as far as how do I handle it with my family, well, first of all, I don't really cook very often. I am not a cook. In fact, I always say it's a miracle my kids survived because I don't like cooking. So I more like was the kind of mom that just kind of got dinner on the table, and my kids, thankfully, are not like big gourmets. So we kind of made do. I make a lot of tacos. I make a lot of spaghetti, a lot of rotisserie chicken at my house, a lot of things where you cut and pour it. Healthy, but I've just never been much of a gourmet cook. Although I do a mean turkey on Thanksgiving, and I just made one, in fact, 2 days ago, and word on the street is it was delicious. And Scott came home and had it for leftovers and said it was really good, so we'll go with that. How do I handle it? I mostly will make a meat dish for them, and then I'll eat all the sides. We eat a lot of salads. We eat a lot of vegetables. We eat a lot of pasta. So yeah, we don't starve. I don't really know how we make it work other than that my husband cooks a lot, and we eat a lot of takeout, which we probably shouldn't do. All right, this was a really interesting one. Those of you that don't know, I just got back from a cruise on the Viking cruise line, the Viking Sea. Those videos are actually going up on the Joyful Living channel, so I'll put a link to that right here and you can go and check that out. But Little Miss Wonderland asks, hi Jen, I have been on several Disney cruises, but I've been very skeptical about venturing off to different cruise lines. What are the pros and cons for both? I'd love your insight because I really trust your judgment. Now, I'm assuming what you're asking is, what do I think of other cruise lines that aren't Disney? And honestly, Viking is the only other cruise line I've sailed. It was spectacular. I did a podcast that was just for my patrons, and I'm thinking of doing a video about this. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, please put that in the comments below. But I will say that Viking was absolutely excellent. And I would say that if you, all things being equal, which you can't really do because of the Disney piece of it, but if you made everything equal, Viking was every bit as good with customer service. I think the food was actually a little bit better. The amenities were better. What was included was better. So of course you can't match, if Disney is what you love, you're not going to get that on the Viking cruise line. But I would not hesitate any day of the week to sail with Viking. I absolutely loved it. And honestly, having a smaller ship was really nice as well. There was only about 900 people on our ship, and it really, I told my mom, it had this feeling of like being on somebody's really nice yacht, and no, there were no lines for anything. You weren't assigned a time for dinner. It was just really, really lovely and peaceful, restorative, and yet we went on so many amazing adventures. Viking has things like an included excursion every day, which really, when I got off that ship, I had just a teeny tiny bill, whereas on Disney Cruise Line, I usually have a big, huge bill. So yeah, I honestly, if you told me that my next cruise I could choose, I might actually choose Viking. So if y'all want to hear more about that, please make sure and put that in the comments below. This is from OK Book Girl. Guys, come here. I'm filming a video. Shh. OK Book Girl. Guys, you can come here? OK Book Girl asks, do you think your husband or kids will ever do a Q&A or be in the videos more? I know you've shown them, but it's been very limited, and I didn't know if that was their choice or yours. Sorry, I'm petting the dog and trying to keep him from knocking over the tripod. Don't knock over the tripod, okay? That would be really bad. So here's the bottom line. First of all, when my husband and kids are around, I am just basically not picking up the camera. Now that the boys are in college, we just don't really have that much time where we're all together as a family. So when that happens, I want to be focused on them. I don't want to be filming. So that's the main reason you're not going to see them a lot, is if they're home, I'm hanging out with them. The second reason is, especially in the case of Scott and one of my boys, they really don't want to be in the videos. They don't want to be on camera. And of course, I'm going to honor that. They didn't ask to start a YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel. And then the third reason is, you guys, I know it seems like I'm really out there with everything about my life, but I'm a very private person. And so there are just a lot of moments that I choose to keep private. And part of that is that my whole family and my entire life is not available for public consumption. I just don't want to do that. So I kind of keep the two things separate. So I would say, yes, it's a little bit their choice, but it's also my choice to kind of keep our private family time private. It's going to be interesting because we have this big family trip coming up in January, and it's going to be all 5 of us for a week. And basically, I'm not going to be filming regular trip vlogs at all. I'll be doing reviews and B-roll and things like that, but I'm not going to be doing normal vlogging because, these vacations are precious to me right now. The boys are getting older and I want to make sure I am present for every moment. So that's really the main reason why. Okay, let's go over to the Facebook post and pull a couple of questions from there, because you guys asked a lot of great questions on Facebook as well. By the way, if you're not following me on Facebook and Instagram, both of those links are in the description box below. Let's see. So this one was from Norma, and I just thought this was so precious, so I have to read it. Norma, you know I love you so much. Norma was one of my very first subscribers, and she asks, how do you handle being recognized, and do you realize how happy you make people? Norma, I don't know if you realize how happy that question makes me. Norma lives in the UK. In fact, they just got back from Disney not that long ago. She's great about, she just bought one of my sweatshirts and posted. She's a huge supporter of the channel. How do I handle being recognized? First of all, I absolutely love when you guys come up to me and tell me you enjoy the videos. It brings me a lot of joy. So it's not weird for me or anything like that. I love meeting you. I love hearing your stories. I love hearing about your trips. So it's not, I don't feel like I'm being recognized. I feel like I have friends just coming up to say hi. So I did when I was in the parks with Michael K. He's obviously a lot bigger YouTuber than I am. And I did notice he gets stopped like every 10 or 15 feet. And I thought, okay, that might get old, but I don't anticipate my little channel ever getting that way. So those of you that know me, if you see me in the parks, please make sure you come and say hi, because I love it. This is from Allison Marie Cece, and she says, have you ever spent any holidays at Disney World? And if you did, how did you navigate the crowds? Well, actually, for years, we went to Disney World for Thanksgiving week. That was kind of our week at Disney World. So, you handle it just like any other time with the crowds. You have to have a strategy. You have to have your fast passes planned out. I love planning, so that was never a big deal for me. Honestly, anymore, I feel like Disney World is crowded all the time. So, you eat in off-peak times, you get to the parks early. The good news is holiday times, the hours are usually a lot longer. So we find that the mornings are usually less crowded than less busy times of the year, if that makes sense, because people know the parks are open till midnight, so they're less likely to get in for maybe an 8 a.m. opening at Magic Kingdom. But at this point, we have gone so much that if we're in a particular park and it just gets too crowded, we just leave. Like we're getting ready to stay in a 2-bedroom at Old Key West. We know we have a great base of operations. We can go back to the villa. We can watch a movie. We can go to the pool. We can go bowling. There's a million different activities we can involve ourselves with that are not being in parks. And I think because we go so often and because we don't have that stress of, oh my gosh, we have to make sure we get it all in, it helps us not stress. So if there's a long line for something we don't have a fast pass for, we just skip it because we know we'll always be back. So owning DVC and being part of Disney Vacation Club has really made that not stressful for us. So I would not hesitate at this point to go really any holiday, and you just kind of go with the flow. And there is a certain energy when the parks are really crowded that can be fun, as long as you kind of understand you may have to wait a long time for things like going to the bathroom, which isn't always very fun. So we do try, like this year we're going the second week of January, which will still be a little bit busy, and then you've got marathon weekend on top of that, but it will certainly be less busy than some of the holiday weeks we've experienced. But I always tell people, anytime you can go to Disney is a good time to go to Disney. No matter what time of year, you could definitely come up with a strategy and a plan that will make it enjoyable for your family. Christina Davis wants to know, is there a restaurant at Disney World that you've wanted to go to but still haven't been? What about Disneyland? I still haven't been to the new Storytellers restaurant where they've got the storybook dining now. I really would like to do that. I can't think of what it's called. It used to be Artist Point, where now they have the dwarves and Snow White and all that. I definitely would like to try that. I've never been to Victoria and Albert's, and I would like to try that as well. Scott and I have a big anniversary coming up. We probably can't get a reservation. So, neither one of us are huge foodies. So I'm not sure that is ever something that we would do, but we've never eaten there. I've never eaten at Narcoossee's, and I've always wanted to try that. So that's one of the restaurants that's on my list. And I think that's really it as far as restaurants that I've thought about and haven't been to yet. At Disneyland, I haven't eaten at hardly any of the nicer restaurants there. I would like to go to Napa Rose. I've heard amazing things about that. And also Goofy's Kitchen there looks like it's really good. So I'd like to try that someday as well. Great questions. I got to get back to Disneyland soon as well. All right, and I thought this one was really funny. Diane McSpeeden says, had to pick up and move out of the South somewhere that you knew no one, where would it be and why? So first of all, I thought that I read that question to my mom and we both kind of laughed because she moved even more than I have in my married life, but pretty much everywhere we've ever moved, I knew no one. And we are just kind of in the South by default. So I don't really consider myself from the South. But definitely if I were to go back somewhere, I have lived in California, Oregon, Texas, California. I think I'm missing something. Maybe that's all. Georgia. Is that all the states where I've lived? Arizona. Did I say Arizona? I've lived in a lot of different states. And if there was a place that I would most like to get back to, I would say it's definitely California. Scott and I have talked for a long time about getting back on the West Coast. That's where my family is. We've talked about moving to Washington State. We're very happy here for now. I definitely feel that I want to stay put until my boys are just a little bit more on their own. You guys know those like college years, you're certainly not ready to launch into your own life yet. So still having this base of operations for them to come home to on their school breaks and feeling like that we're here for them is really important to me. So I see us staying here for definitely the next 2 to 3 years. And after that, we'll just wait and see. Scott always has a possibility of transferring or moving. And so, we just take it a day at a time. But Atlanta, although I love it, I wouldn't necessarily say it feels like home to us. We don't have, I have a cousin here, but we don't have a lot of family here. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long we'll be here, but we would love to get back to California at some point. That is really where I consider myself to be from. I'm a 4th generation native Californian, which is a very rare thing. And that is definitely what I consider my home state. And then I'm going to end with this one because I love this. You've been to Disney so many times. How do you keep your visits to Disney World fresh? And that's actually really easy for me to answer. Disney World is fresh for me because of the people that I'm with and the experiences that I have that always change the experience. So for instance, when I'm there with one of my friends or if I'm there by myself, I'm experiencing things very differently than when I'm there with my family. And, I tell people all the time, it's just like any place you go on vacation all the time, whether that be a lake house that your family loves, or maybe you like to go to Las Vegas, or maybe you like to go to New York City. I think a lot of us have this place where we feel really comfortable and really familiar. And then when we have new experiences or we have new people, it just adds that much more to it. It is just where we like to go. And I don't know that it always feels fresh, but it definitely always surprises me. And we do try to do something new each trip. In fact, this trip in January, we are going to do the after hours event at Magic Kingdom. I just bought those tickets. I'm really excited about that. So that will be a new experience for us. We talked about going to Splitsville this time, which we haven't done before. So I feel like Disney does a really good job of always offering something new, but my kids especially are always in a different phase of life. And so I've never been to Disney World with my kids when when they were, 23, 20, and 20. And Scott and I have changed and will vacation a little bit differently. We like to stay in different places, although Old Key West is our home resort and we do love being at Old Key West. We're always open to staying new places as well. And yeah, it's really just about enjoying each other's company, enjoying the atmosphere, and enjoying the magic that's Disney. So I've never had a problem with it not being fresh, and I don't anticipate that being a problem in the future. So you guys, thank you so much for all of your great questions. I know that I didn't get to all of them, but you really did have some good ones. I'm going to be doing a channel update. I have heard you, those of you that have reached out and said that you are curious about Coppa and if my channel is going to change. I'm going to do a channel update that will probably go up Wednesday of this next week, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I am not an expert and I'm not going to go into some big diatribe about it, but I will just let you know now that nothing is really changing. I may have to make some minor tweaks here and there, just so that I'm sure that I'm complying with all of that, but I don't anticipate anything changing drastically, and I promise that I'm not going anywhere. So look for that next week. There'll also be a really fun giveaway on that, so I'm excited about that. I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your holiday season. I hope your Thanksgiving was amazing, and it's been really great to answer your questions. Thanks to all of you that participated. Again, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so and hit the bell notifications. Now more than ever, I want to see you guys subscribing and being involved and chatting with me on the channel, because I really love doing YouTube and I hope to be doing it well into the future. Thanks for being here. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Be good to each other. Bye.